is
Zaza. Oh, yeah.
Fitzy and
Sweet as.
Whipper.
Hey guys, welcome to the podcast. Hey Ann. Hey Macca. How's everyone doing? Jess, you good? Hey Friday.
Hey guys, so good to be here. It really is. It's a pleasure.
I got to tell you something. Found out last
Scurvy
night.
again?
No. Found out last night.
Leprosy.
Nope. Me Mrs. Lisa. She's been getting it on with someone else. Yeah. Which ain't good. And I'm thinking about...
So sorry that you had to find out this way.
Do you know him? He's the golf...
No. I'm really sorry to hear about it, mate. But
I didn't see it coming.
you know, animal instincts. Sometimes you've just got
Are
to.
you suggesting I wasn't manly enough for her? I said to her on our wedding night, treat me like a piece of meat, you naughty thing.
Oh,
And she
that is
she
not
left
one
the room.
piece of rump that I would like. That's for sure.
Interesting that she... Oh, I said to her the other day, I said, God, sometimes I look at you and I just want to rip your clothes off. I said, do you ever look at me like that?
Yuck.
Nah.
Well, you just had your back lasered, so it's always been a bit tough for her to try to get through that forest.
But, some women like that. Girls, am I right?
All right,
bit
that's
quiet
coming up
here.
in the podcast.
The Fitzy and Whipper podcast.
Fascinating story I stumbled across yesterday, which spoke about extramarital affairs are frowned upon in virtually all cultures around the world. But China is perhaps the only country in the world to not have one. And this brings to light two professions that have started in China due to extramarital affairs. I had no idea. And 13/24/10, if you've ever confronted the other woman, I'd love to know what happened. If you found out who it was and you knew that your man was doing the wrong thing, did you turn up on the doorstep? Did you ring them? How did you say, hey, I know what's going on. Stop ruining our lives.
There's a couple of questions. First you need answers. First question you need answers is, did you know that he was married to me?
Great question. Is that where you'd start, is it?
If you're the other person, would you just lie and say no?
Don't know what
Just
you're
go,
talking about.
sorry, I had no idea. Because then it really takes the wind out of your sails, doesn't it? To really rip them apart.
Strips you.
It's horrible. Yeah, but some people don't have any guilt at all, Like they can. Well, a lot of people are attracted to the knowing that someone is in a
Yeah,
relationship.
that's the thrill of it.
Because that's the person that I can't get because they're already in a relationship. I want them more.
Have a listen to these two types of professions. One is the Mistress Killer. This is a type of detective vigilante that helps scorned wives reveal their husband's infidelities, and they even help you get revenge on that person.
So what, they give you some options.
Oh, yeah, they do. So if you want the full package, that means that they will not only inform your wife of what's been going on.
We'll put a video together we'll put it up at Christmas around the family and everyone gets to know.
Pull your crackers and then sit down at the table.
Not in front of your
Pull your
relatives.
crackers
Well,
while we watch her pull his crackers.
Yeah, and we caught this with a hidden camera and a massage parlour. He's been going there for 5 years.
That'd be expensive,
That would be. The other one is the mistress persuading teacher. So this relies on more of a diplomatic technique to convince the mistress to end the affair. So if you were the mistress, for instance, this woman, this is how she does it first too. Her name's Wang. She said that she would be contracted by a client. The first step is identifying the mistress and trying to get close to her. That usually involves a period of surveillance followed by shadowing. So you follow around to the places that she frequents and then eventually you befriend her. Then, because they're the third wheel in the situation, they're almost always up for opening up and talking through what they're going through.
It's probably true. That would work.
Then she uses a variety of arguments to convince them to end the affair.
It's a very long...
It's a big ask.
Yeah, isn't it? Real commitment of time.
So you'd be pointing out how you are ruining someone else's life.
Does Wang get paid well for this?
Very well.
The other
Vera
thing is-
Wang, in fact.
See, the other thing as well is that the customer that's paid Wang to do this, well, you know what? It's a long process. You finally get the mistress to say, nah, to stay away from your husband.
Yeah.
How could you take your husband back then, knowing that he's already done that?
Well, I think that's right.
It's up to you, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Fun.
There's a
and
different
Wang might have a
expectation.
few on the go at the time. You forget that. Yeah, you could have a few
Busy
clients
Wang.
on the run.
13/24/10. What would you do? Like, would you in this situation confront the other partner? There's a bloke who used to work on this show. He wandered off to another network, but he was in a situation where he thought he was happily married. And then he logged into her Facebook page and realised that his wife had been chatting to somebody else, and it was clear through the text that they were having an affair. So he got the number of this guy, rang him. The guy said, the bloke who worked for us, I'm not going to use his name.
Well, hang on, worked on this show.
Yeah.
I've been here the whole time.
You know him.
What, is
Who
he
is
still
it?
working on the show?
Nope.
Well, we've only lost a handful.
A
A few casualties. Tom, don't shake your head. I can really figure this out.
He rang this guy and he said, "Where are you right now, mate?" The guy says, "I'm down at the local." He says, "You don't know me, but I've got some information. I really need to talk to you about it." And then he said, "Okay, let me know when you get there." So he pulls up at the pub and then says to the guy, rings him and says, "I'm out the front, come and jump in the car." So he sits in the car and he says, "I want you to know that you've been having an affair with my wife." This guy had no idea that she was married whatsoever. So he's in just as much shock as the married man who worked on the show.
Wow.
So
no wonder Matt DeGroote's had a day off.
They both
Oh, DeGroote.
drive back to the house to confront the wife.
And what'd she do?
That was it. Over. Burst into tears, on the ground crying.
Yeah, you would, wouldn't you?
Lost
You'd
control
feel so
of all
overwhelmed.
bodily functions in a panic
that's not
state.
true.
Fouled herself right there on the carpet.
Oh, man, that's full on.
True story. And that's why he left Nova to find someone else.
You're getting in trouble later.
Who is it? Like,
You know who it is.
is it someone who was on air?
No, I don't think he was on air. He was recently here and unfortunately he's gone now.
I need answers. I'm the type of person that needs answers.
Yep, so would you confront the other person?
Yes, I would. And I want to know how it all started.
So if
Did he approach you? Or it's
so
hard for me.
BJ,
Yeah.
you found out that there was some other hunk around the corner in Balmain.
Yep.
Would you knock on the door?
I would knock on the door. With the.
The problem is everyone in Balmain loves Fitzy so much they'd just be doing it to try and meet Fitz.
So what? Fitzy would knock on the door and say,
he'd be
"Hey,
like,
you've been
"Yay!"
sleeping with my wife." And he goes, "Can I get an autograph?
I was hoping you'd come over.
Quick selfie, mate."
Totally would.
I'm not really sleeping with your wife. I just wanted to see.
She's hostage out the back.
All right. I want to know if you've confronted the other party, the other person, and you've found out that your partner's been cheating.
Oh.
Did you put in a phone call? Did you turn up on the doorstep? Did you turn up to their workplace and say, "You're sleeping with my husband"? Kim, welcome to the show. What's your story, Kim?
I had my ex have a spare phone, and I heard the phone ring, found the phone, contacted the ex, contacted the girlfriend actually,
Yeah.
and she and I got together, chatted about what he'd been up to. So I asked her to ring him and organise for him to go to her house.
Yes.
And so I hid my car in her garage and hid in a bedroom. She welcomed him into the house, sat him down, said, "We need to talk." Basically said to him, "I need to know, are you married? Do you have a wife? And, where are we going? Are you with me or are you with her?"
Yeah.
And he just didn't know what to say. And
Could
then
you
all
hear
of a
this?
sudden he heard it all, and then I stepped out from behind a door
Oh, yes.
and said, looked at him and just went, "Yeah, what are we doing? Do you want me or do you want her?"
Oh, there's a movie in that, Kim.
And then what did he
I
say?
know. Hey?
Then what did he say? Who'd he go with?
He went white. He went white as a ghost.
Oh, my God.
I basically just told him to get his ass home, and basically along the lines we talked when we got home. And I didn't go home for 3 days.
Well done,
Oh,
Kim.
my God.
And that silent treatment would have been just eating at him. So then, how long after that before it was all over, Kim?
Another 13 years.
So you did work it out,
Yeah.
Kim?
No, I wasn't in a position to be able to leave him. So I basically went out and applied to do some study to get a job so that I could save up the money to finally get out of there.
Good on you.
And then, Kim, why did it end after that extra 13 years?
Oh, because there was a hell of a lot more I found out after that.
Kim,
so-
you are a very strong lady, Kim.
Yeah.
And so,
I've
Kim,
only just found out in the last week he has a daughter that we never knew about.
oh my God, this guy's a stinker. Oh, Kim, I'm so sorry.
You would have thought that moment, right, when he got confronted by his wife and his mistress, that could have been the moment that he changed.
Yeah, I might need to smarten up my act here, because often you only find out these stories, Kim, when someone dies.
Well, I ended up, the reason why I finally left him is because my children overheard him talking to girlfriends.
Kim,
And
so
they were the ones that said, Mum, out.
the girl on the couch, that one, if we go back to there, so did she have any idea that he was married or not?
Absolute no idea. He told her that we were living in the house, but we were separated. I lived upstairs, he lived downstairs.
See, it's how old are the kids now, can I ask him? This is a personal question, but are they a bit older?
Yeah, I left when my son was 16.
Right.
I left when he was in year 11.
Do they know about Dad's past?
Oh, 100%. They heard all the conversations. They were the ones that told me, Mum, I'm overhearing him talking to this girlfriend. You need to leave him.
God, and did you, Kim, when you look back on it now after you found out that he was cheating for the first time, were there signs that you would consider differently now?
I watched every time, and that's how I found out about all the other ones.
Oh, my
God. I was constantly watching out for all those signs, but
It's exhausting.
Got it,
I
dogs.
didn't wait until I was in a position that I could leave him.
Yeah.
Deborah's given us a call from Kira Lee. Did you confront your ex's mistress?
Hi, Deborah.
Hello, how are you?
Good, Deborah. What's your story?
How I found out my husband was cheating on me, I'd be going to work and he'd get all dressed up and I thought he was going out with the boys. And then I got suspicious one time when he copied a CD of Robert Palmer's Addicted to Love.
Oh, no.
Robert Palmer is always the
So
sign.
he burnt it onto the CD. Yeah, play. Yeah, gotcha.
well,
And then,
face it,
so how did that give it away, Deb?
Because he was getting all dressed up too nice to be going out with the boys.
Yes.
Right.
And I just don't know, I had this inner feeling and started getting suspicious. And then when I asked him, I said, so who are you copying that for? And he said, oh, no one. And I thought, oh.
No one? That's
What a
lazy.
terrible excuse.
Oh, it's for Shane. He loves Simply Irresistible.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just needed a second copy.
Okay, so that was the start. That's when you first became a bit cluey.
Yep. And then one night, instead of going to work, I followed him and seen him go knock on a lady's door. And I thought, okay, this isn't looking good. So a couple of days later, I went to the lady's house and I knocked on her door and I confronted her and I said, my husband was here the other night. Are you both having an affair? Yeah. And she said, oh, well, we have been for a while, but it's all off now.
Oh, no.
I said, well, how come? I said, how can it be off when he was only here 2 nights ago? So she was lying to me.
Right.
Oh,
Did she know about you, Deb?
Must have.
Yeah. So I said, well, why are you having an affair with my husband? She said, oh, well, he told me that you weren't getting along. I said, well, that's news to me. I've never known. He never told me that.
I mean, it's not a bad excuse. I mean, if you weren't getting along, Deb.
Imagine if you said, we get along famously.
Well done on not, I don't know, blowing up the mailbox or putting a baseball bat through the back of the car window or something, Deb, because your emotions, mate, you might have been shaking at the door. Your emotions would have been through the roof.
Oh, they were. I was very angry. I wanted to punch her, but I didn't.
Swift elbow to the chin.
How did you confront him, Deb?
Well, I just asked him straight out, and he was denying it. And what made it worse was that when he went away for work, he was taking her with him.
You can't do that.
She obviously doesn't work for the same company, so there's something wrong there.
No, you can't put her in the carry-on.
Or was she? Could have been a
Who
PA,
knows?
you never know.
And how much longer did you stay with him, Deb?
I only stayed a week. I told him to get out, and that was it, that we were going to be divorced.
Tell it walking, buddy.
Yeah.
You know what, Tommy?
Deb's very strong.
Him and Deb going running for first class and 50k.
Oh, man.
You want someone like a Kim or Deb to win it.
Yeah.
You want also
And
fits.
you know what? When we reveal to them, Kate, Tim and Joel ring them back, you've won the first class 50k. They then ring their ex and go, I've won this prize.
Great.
And I'm just here to ring you and tell you that you are not part of the 3 friends that are coming with me first class.
Shove it up your bum, you're not invited.
I mean,
Sorry, I snapped then. I should have said
aggressive.
stuff it up your jumper. Yes. And Kim and Deborah should go for coffee. They should catch up. We can unite you girls
they
off
should
air.
get
Yeah.
together.
Not
So they can go on.
dating.
what?
Yeah, they can. No, not together
That's a
romantically.
good way to
Go and have
finish the movie, I suppose. Whether you've been craving the ocean, snow, mountains or city lights, there are so many possibilities for you and your next trip.
Make up for missed holidays and explore more of Oz with whatif.com.
Jump online or on the What If app.
What If? It's Aussie for travel.
We were talking about golf legends yesterday. There's some good-looking men. Nick Faldo, he's leaving the commentary box. Sevi Ballesteros, I told you. Even Greg Norman, even though he's a bit on the nose at the moment, he's a good-looking man. Gary Player's another one. I mean, when you're a good-looking bloke and you could be the face of Gazman and your name's Gary Player, I reckon you would have been a bit of a player back in the day.
Tell me about it. Gary's
having a few problems with his sons. Now, I've spoken about Wayne, his son, before. Do you remember? So Wayne was the one. He's been banned from Augusta now because they brought back a legendary golfer. He was one of the first black golfers to actually be on the tour, and they brought him out to show everyone. He can't actually swing the golf club anymore, but while they had him on and everyone was giving him a standing ovation, Gary Player's son, Wayne Player, was in the background promoting his golf balls.
That's right. Yeah, a bit of self-promotion for the occasion.
He was trying to sell his golf balls. He had his brand right behind this golfer's back.
Yep.
And he was just putting it up to the camera saying, buy these golf balls. He's been banned now. Gary's having a few other problems with his other son as well, Mark Player, because he's busted his sons and his son's manager trying to sell some of Gary's old trophies and memorabilia from his career.
All right.
To get a bit of a leg up.
Okay. Without asking, Dad.
No.
Son, let me show you something you should be proud of. This cabinet is dedicated to me. Over the years of fine golf, I won these trophies. Oh, did you, Dad? You wander off.
They're priceless.
I'll take one from the top shelf and put it on eBay.
I mean, Gary Player, he's in his 80s now. He doesn't really do much social media, but he had to finally go on social media and say, I would like to draw the public's attention to the fact that several trophies and other pieces of memorabilia that form part of my legacy have been put up for sale and for auction by my son and ex-manager, Mark. I have placed no items for sale, whether by auction or otherwise, so do not bid for them. Do not try to buy them.
If you could buy the trophy full of golf balls that the other son was promoting, you might get a bit of a bonus deal there.
See, this is and I don't know, because I come from a German background. So on my mother's German side of the family, I don't know if this is tradition, but when someone passes away, I do remember this, but when Auntie Elma passed away, my mother's Auntie Elma, everything that she owned in the house went into this huge shed. And at her funeral, at the end of the funeral, I remember my Uncle Ken saying to everyone, okay, everyone can go into the shed now and you can choose whatever you want from Auntie Elma's belongings.
Was there a limit? Like, did they say, all right, one item, form an orderly line, one item per person, roll a door up, ready to go?
No, I was only about 9 or 10 years of age, and I remember going in, and look, a majority of it was old, really old. So I'm going through, and there was cutlery in there was everything from the house, so I didn't really, but I come across a few watches.
How did no one beat you to the watches?
Well, see, the kids got in first as well, Sarah, and this was, I can't believe
women and children first.
Well, I put 3 watches in my pocket.
Thanks, Auntie Elma.
And then you know how you've got one of these as well, but you make a pencil case at woodwork school,
wooden box,
with a sliding lid. I had one of those at home, so I just put the watches in there and forgot about them until I was about 17 or 18, and I was going through my stuff at home. And I went through and went, these watches are still okay, so I'm going to take them down to cash converters. And I remember one was gold, but I didn't know if it was real gold or not.
No.
The whole watch and band was gold. Went down there, and I remember the guy bargaining with me and negotiating. And I said, come on, mate, that's gold. That's got to be at least a couple $100. He goes, $50, mate. That's all you're going to get from me. Take it or leave it.
What a win he had.
Needed the money, $50 for this one watch. And it wasn't until a few years later till Uncle Ken and Uncle Wole piped up and said, well, did anyone know of Auntie Elma had a watch that was 9-carat gold?
Gee, you jumped in early, Ryan.
And it was all over. Like it was the actual watch, Sarah, and the band.
Are they still alive? Would they know now that you did that?
Yeah. Uncle Ken and Uncle Wallace still alive.
Mate, it doesn't matter. It depends what you did with the $50 note. That's what matters. Like if you invested that 50 and it was a smart spend.
In Slurpees or something like that?
No, I bought $50 worth of Ansett shares.
Yep. There you go.
And
Run
now
it into
they're
the ground.
worth a fortune. 13, 24, 10. What did someone in the family sell off that was worth a bit?
Yeah.
Kelly in Mount Annan, what did you accidentally sell off, Kel?
So when my partner came from England to Australia, we got together many years later. So obviously we lived together, and I'm the organizer, so I put things where I want them. And I come across this plate, like it's so old.
Yeah.
It's from England,
Yeah.
and I needed extra money to pay for my Botox one day, and I thought, you know what, this thing is so ugly. Anyway, I definitely was ripped off because I reckon it was worth so much money. I've never confessed, so he still thinks it's packed away somewhere. I don't know what it means.
Yeah, never tell
or
anybody
where.
when you're on the radio.
Do you
now,
remember
Kel.
what you got for it, Kel? What did they offer you?
Only a couple of hundred. I reckon it was definitely worth thousands. Hey.
Macca, have you got any music from Antique Roadshow?
That's not bad.
Great show.
Well, the old China plates, they can be worth a fortune.
Oh, yeah. Mate, I love those stories where people say, hold your breath. I'm now going to tell you what the value is. I think at an auction, you could achieve a total of £10,000.
Can you though? Where do you go to do that though? Because I didn't know what's the major auction house? What are they
Sotheby's.
called? Sotheby's. Don't you have to give them 25%?
25 to 30.
That is unbelievable.
And then the purchaser pays 20% as well.
Oh my god!
Yeah, so if you have an auction and let's say you spend, oh my God, I've spent $10,000 on this.
Yeah, it's actually 12,000.
Yeah, and the rest.
And that's to unlock the clientele base that Sotheby's have, is
Yeah.
it?
No,
But
but all auction houses.
Are they
Yeah,
really?
like
Yeah.
I love the one. There's a little one in the back of Leichhardt that does just random stuff.
Yeah.
You pay to sell and you pay to buy.
So they will then spend their money on marketing your sale. So there was one last night that took place because Lisa was across it, and it was one woman who had this collection of jewellery, and it was extraordinary. Like the catalogue was that thick.
Yeah.
And over time, this woman had collected all these beautiful pieces, and they were now put together for an auction. So they not only did they have a drinks where you go and view the jewellery to start with a week before the actual auction, you then get the invitation and the thick catalogue, and they promote
Well,
it.
it's the same as Russell Crowe's.
Yeah, exactly the same. And that was the 30%, I think, on Sotheby's.
What did we go for at Rusty's?
We went
Chariot,
for the
wasn't it?
Chariot, yeah.
And what did we end up getting?
The memorabilia from
Jockstrap.
No, from Cinderella Man.
Cinderella Man. But you know what? I've since watched Cinderella Man, and I can identify the items we got. It's quite unique.
Oh, awesome.
And I think
It was a bag of peanuts, wasn't it?
well, not an actual bag of peanuts. It was a framed bag of peanuts.
Tommy, just quickly, your mum and dad, the piece of art they found in the attic.
Yeah, it had, I think my grandfather had been gifted it in exchange for some work that he'd done.
And it was blue poles, was it?
Yeah, something like that. And then somehow someone from Sotheby's came past Mum and Dad's house and said, "What's that painting you've got in the stairwell?" And then it turned out it was worth like $300,000.
My God.
Mum and
it
Dad couldn't afford the insurance on it.
was the Mona Lisa, was it?
It wasn't the Mona Lisa, but the...
And
so
Tommy,
now it's-
how much
yeah.
did you get at Cashy's?
Yeah, no, I got it was the Ansett shares are double that. That's
Okay.
great.
All right. Brooke's giving us a call from the Sutherland Shire. She can't get off speakerphone. What did you accidentally give away, Brooke?
When I was a very naive 14-year-old,
Yeah.
I gave away some gold jewellery to St Vinny's because I didn't want it anymore.
Oh. How much do you reckon it was worth, Brooke?
Maybe $1,000.
Did anyone inquire about it when it went missing, Brooke?
No, it was from my own jewellery collection. But as an adult, I then realised, that jewellery I gave away, that was probably worth something.
I know, when you're young, you don't think it's worth anything at all, but if you can
Very
just hold on to it.
But, I mean, you're not even getting money at the Salvos, Brooke. So, I mean, you should have just held on to it for the sake of maybe in one day it could be worth something quite substantial.
It's like the old, and everyone, your parents say this to you all the time. Do you know how much those Star Wars figurines are worth these days if you kept it in the box? No, Mum, I wanted to play with it.
I used to get a bit like that, though, thinking I could... I remember one time I bought the first episode or the first comic of Superman, and I put it in the cupboard somewhere.
Not
bought it
the
online.
original. You wouldn't have the original.
Then,
The very
That was from the
first.
70s,
then
wasn't
I bought
it?
one, collector's item. I bought it on the Trading Post, like when it was in the newspaper form, and Mum would drive around buying stuff. And then I bought the comic of when Superman died. And I wouldn't know where they are now. Wouldn't have a clue. I would have been 13 at the time.
You've been duped, mate. Someone's printed
No.
them off
I wrapped it in
How do you
bubble
know,
wrap.
though? How do you know it was the first?
Cost me a fortune.
How much?
I got no idea.
Imagine someone stung you.
$1,200 or something like that.
Rip there.
Mum, get out there.
13, 24, 10. Who sold off something important which belonged to the family? Tash from Chipping Norton. What have you got for us, Tash?
Good morning, guys. So my fiance's grandparents, his grandmother had the full first edition leather-bound Agatha Christie book that my grandfather saw up in the cupboard.
Yeah.
He wanted to put something else up there, so he just chucked them over at Salvo's.
Oh, to the salvo. I've always wondered.
Wow.
I've always wondered.
Of course they take it.
No, the volunteers, right? The volunteers, because there would have to be jackpots every now and then. And look,
Big time.
I know people who volunteer at op shops and at salvos just to hope one day that they come across a treasure like this.
Yep, it's accidentally been dropped off.
Well, there's one in Adelaide that my mum goes to. It's called Savers, and the rule is if you want to work there, you can't take anything that comes into the back shed. It's got to be on the rack, Sarah, for 3 weeks.
3 weeks?
Before you're allowed to get first dibs.
No.
I told you the story about after my wedding. Mum had all her jewellery and handbags and stuff in a bag. I don't know why. It was in a green garbage bag at the front door. And she said, can you run those garbage bags down to the Salvos? And there was 3 other bags full of old clothes. I picked up all the garbage bags and took them to the Salvos. And any time this topic comes, so all the jewellery and the handbags were lost. And any time this comes up, because it was some of Dad's mum's jewellery, any time it comes up, Dad says, don't bring it up. I feel sick about it.
Because your dad
I feel sick about it.
Your dad was in there too, because he was your mum's number 1 handbag.
No, well, he was actually wearing the jewellery at the time. I dropped him off at the shop.
Dom in Barrel. Well, what have you regretted, Dom?
So I had these jewelry pieces from when I was little, hand-me-down things from my grandma, and I thought they were really ugly, which is really mean. But I let my friend borrow them, and then eventually just let her keep them. And a couple years later, she sold it for up to nearly $5,000.
How annoying, Dom. How annoying.
I
God, that's frustrating. Remember the story I told you about when I went to Cash Converters with a couple of old cameras of Nans one day, and there was the bloke in front of me.
Who is this guy?
There's a bloke in front of
Did
me.
you have your Superman comic with you then?
No, because it's priceless. Anyway, the guy in front of me is trying to sell a parachute. He says to the guy...
He's still in the plane.
He says to the guy, I spent $3,000 on this parachute, as the bloke's offering him $300, and he can't believe it. And the guy says, who's going to buy a parachute from Cash Converters?
Yeah, but they'll still take it.
They took it. He got the $300.
Oh, thank you for your calls, Dom.
The Fitzy and Whipper podcast.
Now, I don't know if this is true. Radar Online, does anyone know? Are they reputable?
I love
a
that.
reputable website?
Love Radar.
Website. What do they do? Do they, it's like police radars?
Dylan Howard used to be the boss of that, didn't he, Tommy? Yeah, we used to have him on this show all the time.
We did.
Dylan
He was
Howard.
good mates with Harvey Weinstein.
He was. That's when it took a turn.
Okay, all right. This is Radar Online. That they are saying with the Pete Davidson, Kim Kardashian breakup, that the rumours are, and a source has told them, that Pete actually got down on one knee before the breakup.
I hope not. The
What do you
poor
reckon it was
guy.
like, last-ditch attempt? Don't say, before you dump me, will you marry me?
Now,
No, she probably went, it's a bit soon. You might be moving at a faster speed.
this is what I'm saying, Sarah, and has this happened before? Because nobody likes a keno, that's the thing. But there are a lot of people out there that do fall in love very quickly, and they want to get it moving. Do you know a keno? If you've been in a relationship before where someone was just too keen and wanted to move it very quickly, and you had to call it off, I'd love to hear if a proposal led to a breakup because you were like, I'm not ready for this.
Well, it kind of needs to, doesn't it? Oh,
Yeah,
you would
where do you
suggest.
go?
You're right, Says, because you're putting everything on the line, and if your everything gets knocked back, well, then the only way to do it is probably to move on. Or you can go, settle down, let's just see how things go. If you go all in and they do a let's see how things go, not going to sit too well with you, is it?
But he would have scared her, you would think. She's got 4 kids. She's not even properly divorced.
No.
It's chaos. Your ex is a little bit all over the shop. Slow down, Pete.
Geez, it's the ultimate roller coaster, though, isn't it? When that Pete was thinking, you know what, this is going really well. You know, my popularity is rising. I love Kim.
I got BD energy.
You know what? She flew in a private plane all the way to Cairns to come and see me. This is on.
DTF.
You know what? I love her. And I want to spend the rest of my life with her. And then a day later, getting down on one knee and realising, Keno, nobody likes a Keno. I'm out.
It's like when you put in a phone. It's like when you put in a phone call to somebody, or you text them, and you're in a completely different emotional state than they are.
Oh yeah,
because it's impossible to know how they're feeling at the time. But you send something from the heart, and they're in the middle of their day and not thinking
having a fight with their boss, and they do not care that you love them.
Yeah, and you're not. They're not thinking like you're thinking, and all of a sudden you get a WTF.
Or just a thanks. I'll call you later. I'm just a bit flat out.
Tammy's giving us a call from Eaglevale. Tam, did your proposal lead to a breakup?
Well, I was 18. It's my 18th birthday.
Yep.
My boyfriend showed up with this beautiful heart necklace with a key. Got down on his knee, asked me to marry him. We'd been dating 6 months. I said yes. He was a guy. I'd fallen in love with this guy. He goes, we'll go and pick a ring together. He goes, I'll take the necklace with me. I want to get engraved. My name, your name. A week later, I found out that he proposed to somebody else also with the same necklace.
What?
And
he was
something.
He was trying to get his odds up, was he? He was just throwing it out there to anyone, just hoping.
There was two of us. He was playing both of us.
Oh, so he only needed a yes from one. He's just,
Did he get a yes from the other one, Tam?
No, actually.
Oh, poor.
I found out she told him no.
Ouch,
they stayed together. They end up going together and dating for about another 6 months, and then she broke up with him.
Have you heard about him lately, Tammy? Has he had multiple marriages, or is he
multiple girlfriends? Never settled down.
Sounds like he's going for the same trick each time and freaking women out. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Marry me.
Yeah.
Come on, Tommy, the girl that you went out with the shaved head. That was pretty serious, wasn't it, in terms of relationships?
What a deflect.
Because you did live with her.
No, I didn't live.
And then Georgie that you worked on the show.
Did you drop the L?
No.
Did you drop the L bomb? Did you say I love you at any stage, Tom?
No, I didn't. And the reason, I was just taken aback when she rocked up one day with the shaved head out the front.
Yes.
And I just wanted
Did she
some
have
prior
head lice
warning.
or something? What was the reasoning?
No, she was a.
Tom suggested
she was a body double in V for Vendetta, wasn't she, for Natalie Portman?
Well, that'd be pretty good.
Tom suggested she needed a trim, and she completely misread it.
You should shave that next thing.
Don't do that
I
at
can
the
understand
Just Cuts.
that proposal would lead to a breakup, that's for sure.
The Fitzy and Whipper podcast.
Lights, camera, hilarity.
Ooh, Sarah.
The top trending stories in entertainment this morning. The tributes continue for Olivia Newton-John. Her co-star in Grease, Dee Conn, who played Frenchie. She was on Good Morning America, and she shared how she spoke to Olivia in the weeks before her passing.
She wasn't walking anymore and that she had full-time care, but her husband, John, and her daughter, Chloe, were there all the time. And she told me that they were just so hopelessly devoted, you know?
Right. Well, you two met on the set of Grease.
She was nervous and the first scene we had together, you know, coming on the first day of school. And she told me she was, you know, had been in another movie and it didn't go as well as she had hoped. My impression of her was a star. I mean, she was a big rock star at that time. And I just wanted to be one of the gang.
Hey, I love that they're still friends.
Yeah, the whole Grease cast are very close.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Let's remember, and then she told the girls that it was Danny Zuko and then RZA.
Rizzo,
sorry, RZA.
Rizzo roll.
Rizzo's a rapper, isn't it?
Well, RZA, yeah, I think it is DJ Rizzo. But then he went and she was dressed up in her cheerleader gear. I mean, I was watching this again last night.
I can tell that it's fresh in your memory. Guys, Pete Davidson has revealed he's in trauma therapy after being triggered by Kanye West's online harassment during his time with Kim, and obviously the other day with that New York Times fake front page claiming that he was dead. It's apparently, been very stressful. And as I said yesterday, Kim has, spoken out in support of him, but he's decided to get proper help because it's all become
the other one as well that we're going to talk about later in the show, Sarah, is that the rumour was that he proposed to Kim.
Really?
He proposed to Kim and she knocked it back and said, a little bit too keen. And she said, I can't do this.
Careful with that,
He
mate.
did it with the Ariana
Grande. Yeah, and she was into it, remember, until all that Mac Miller weird stuff came out about Pete Davidson sending Mac's family
Man, I reckon
pictures
he's
of
weird.
them together and stuff. I think there's just a lot going on in Pete's head, mate.
Hey, Kim, now's the time to draw a line in the sand and go, you know what? I'm just going to date somebody normal. A guy that works at Bunnings. A bloke from the corner store. The bloke who does the paper run. You know what I mean?
She
The
doesn't
chef
meet those
at the
people.
restaurant. The
She
butcher.
She doesn't go to Bunnings or the butcher.
Starbucks. You might go there.
The magnificent baristas at Starbucks who do an amazing job. She could fall in love with some guy that she gets a white chocolate mocha off.
There you go, Grunde. Think about it.
Finally, guys, very sweet. Kate Middleton has sent a sweet letter to a 6-year-old girl who wrote to Prince George inviting him to her birthday party.
Oh, that's
She's
lovely.
handwritten a response. Yeah, made me think of Georgie. Remember when she invited Kate and Wills to her wedding just so she'd get a response?
Did get a
I feel
reply,
like
though.
She did get a reply. I feel like this is her next step for stalking the royals. I might send it to her.
It's not a bad idea, is it?
Well done, Sarah. Well done.
The Fitzy and Whipper podcast.
You know, I've spoken about funerals on this show quite a bit. And
Never.
And we need to talk about these things. Be honest with each other. How do you want to go out? Do you want to party? Do you want us to celebrate your life? Or
Have
do you
you
want
put your funeral in your will?
No, Sarah.
You need to put directives
What do you mean?
in there. Have you guys not done your wills?
Yeah, I've done a will, but I don't remember the funeral part.
Well, no, you're supposed to give directives for what you'd like if you have some really special things. Otherwise, you're just going to end up with people throwing whatever they want.
And this is the couple of stories here that I want to focus on, Sarah, because I would say a majority of people have not put in any effort into their funeral in the way that they want to go out. So when it happens and they do pass away, you know what? Sometimes your friends have to take it into their own hands and do the one thing that you love.
When you invest.
Ecuador. Eric Cedeno, 21 years of age. Unfortunately, Eric has passed away. There was a couple of rival gangs that were after him and his mates, and Eric was the one that copped it.
Damn.
Now, on his way to the funeral, the family are carrying the coffin of Eric, and his mates rock up with a heap of motorbikes. Because let me tell you this, Eric liked to ride. He started on a Pee-wee 50, and then he upgraded to a Suzuki and then a Yamazaki. The boys rocked up in the Yamazaki.
On a Yamazaki?
They grabbed Knowlesy, they grabbed Eric Cedeno, and they said, let's drive, let's do this.
So they had a Knoll plane.
So they took Eric out of the coffin and they chucked him onto the bike, Sarah. There he is in the middle.
Oh, no.
For one last ride.
That's a bit weird.
One last ride. All the boys are cheering. He's on the bike. That's the way he
So
wanted to go out.
He's kind of strapped in, isn't he?
Well, he'd have to be. He'd
Strapped to
weigh
the
a ton.
Guy in front.
It would be, yeah. And
Stiff as a board.
Yeah.
that's on a Suzuki there, old school vintage. Look at that.
Yeah, I mean, if it falls off,
It's a beautiful story. And then, you know what? You return it to the family. You finish the funeral. But he's had one last ride. Popped a couple of monos. You know what I
Manies.
mean? Lit it up maybe at the back.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not doing any of it. His mates are, but...
Bury him on the bike if you loved his bike.
To your point, though, Whips, you take a corner and he goes flying off.
He's not going to die.
No, I know, but he's in bad nick when you put him back in the
Oh, right,
box.
when you've got to try and pick the pieces up, yeah.
I've got another one for you if you want to watch this one. This is a video, but a young Mexican man, he unfortunately, he loved his soccer so much, unfortunately not with us anymore, so his mates decided, he's in the coffin there.
Right.
Let's get him to score one last goal.
Oh, don't.
One last goal before he goes into the coffin, into the goal.
So the ball bounces off the coffin into the
There's all
goal.
the boys celebrating
with him.
I mean, what a
That's
great...
cute.
I mean, he's hit that ball sweetly too off the coffin.
Yeah, into the far corner.
To be honest with you, the goalie was hopeless.
Yeah. It was almost like he was acting it out for the funeral.
Nowhere near it.
Oh, they're all crying.
I mean, what he should be doing now is a lap of honour with his shirt off. Instead, he's still in the box.
Look at the crowd slow clapping.
You would be a bit would you be, if you were the one that was passed, would you be like, no, honestly, guys, have a real crack. I want you to try. Like, I know he's saying to the goalie, you didn't even really try then.
The thing is,
Let me score a proper goal.
If we look at you, right, and what you've done for the majority of your life, which would be radio, right? We could get you, like if you died tomorrow, we could get you on stage just in a chair or standing upright with a bit of a prop. Because we have 11 years, this show's been on air for 11 years of audio, I could interview you and we could just get sound bites.
No.
And we could make it look like you were still chatting up there.
Like that party. Remember the one you brought up on air ages ago? It was the party and the guy was up on stage, the body, and because he'd wanted to... Did he want to DJ
That's
or
right.
something?
No,
at the
he was a
nightclub?
rapper.
Yeah.
He was on the dance floor. And that was One Last Rap. It was his favourite rap songs. I think it was 50
to
Cent
Rap.
Into
Yeah,
Club
Born
and
to
stuff
Rap.
like that. No. I told you guys, radio means nothing to me. I'd like to kick one last goal from 50.
On the SCG.
You know what I mean? And I don't know. Well, we watched Silence of the Lambs for the first time.
Great
the other
idea.
night. I could give you permission that you make a skin costume from Fitzy.
This
Someone
is not
puts
right.
it on and has a shot from Phoebe.
What if
Whipper's wearing it.
If we just got your leg, like spring-loaded, right? So the ball's just propped up there. You're kind of stiff standing up.
1-800 for promo.
1-800 for promo.
Oh, my God.
Would make some sort of kicking mechanism, right? So your leg was forced forward. Like that footage of the woman who goes to shoot the watermelon in the slingshot.
Yes.
And it bounces back and hits her in the face.
Yeah.
Be like that kind of thing. We let your foot go and the ball can fly through
So
50.
you get
from 50.
one last screening to say
Yeah.
goodbye to Fitzy, and every person that goes past, you just press the button and he kicks.
He kicks
the ball to him on the lead.
Verizon!
I like it. You know what? So, Sarah, where
Why
do you
are you
go to
winding
get
up
a
the
will?
show?
Where do you go to get a will?
You just ask your lawyer to put up with that. What are we doing with the rest of Fitzy's body? Do you roll him over and give him tushy taps as you run past after you've kicked your goal?
I'm more than happy to donate organs to the Casanovas who hand them out in different Parramatta.
That's
You
not
could go
bad.
down south to the Shire somewhere.
Do you know what a mate of mine did as a running
Got
joke?
cans of Coke and Fitzy's liver.
Put some bourbon with it. A mate of mine, he built into his will that so-and-so would get different collections. So he left, Pete can get my silver spoon collection.
Yeah.
There is no silver spoon collection. So the joke is that when he dies, they go around the house looking for all these items that have been left to people,
that's
but
a
they
great idea.
don't exist.
That's a good idea.
Funny wills. Do you have a funny will? 13 24 10, Tom.
Nah, the show's over.
Are we winding up, are we? Because I thought that was really going to hit a high note.
I'm so sorry.
No.
The Fitzy and Whipper Show is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.